Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you all being here. I just want to make sure this is working. Okay, so this is my action research project that I've been working on. You guys all know that I've been working on this for probably almost a year now, and these are the results from the work that I've been doing. So if I can just get to changing my slide. Okay, so this presentation is the culmination of research regarding the Student Support Center and how underutilized it is. With behaviors escalating, teachers are finding it harder to implement ways to de-escalate behaviors and try to manage classroom behaviors. While all the teachers in the school are familiar with Tier 1 strategies, some instances may happen when a child needs to be removed from his or her environment, or they need to self-regulate before returning to the classroom. The goal of this was to try and keep students in the classroom more and not have them missing out on learning time quite so much. So hence the reason for the Student Support Center. So we're really concentrating on social emotional learning. I'm not going to read the whole slide. I don't want to bore you guys. But we all know that social emotional learning is a process in which young people, as well as adults, can benefit from the knowledge and skills necessary to develop healthy identities and manage their emotions, as well as show empathy for others and making responsible decisions. We try and instill this in our students every day. That's why we use our toolbox and remind them of their tools. Teaching students the components of SEL in schools can help them learn how to deal with their emotions they may not be sure how to manage, give them the tools to self-regulate, and help them maintain their behavior in the classroom to keep them in the classroom and continue to learn. Especially, you guys all know with our students, they have a lot of trauma. They come from families that their parents don't know how to regulate their emotions. So it's always been our belief that we really need to instill in these kids how to regulate their emotions, which takes us to the SEL framework, is the use of social emotional learning to help students effectively regulate their emotions and maintain self-awareness. So SEL focuses on maintaining their self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, which again, our students need a lot of that. They come from backgrounds where not only them, but their parents as well have no idea how to manage their emotions, as well as responsible decision making. So after these professional development sessions with you guys, teachers grades K through 4, we wanted to demonstrate an increased understanding and the competence of using the support center, because as you guys will see in the survey that we took, a lot of people know about the center, they just don't know how to go about accessing it and how to go about using it and referring students to the center. So that's what this was all about. So we're doing this to help promote students' social and emotional well-being and help them to effectively regulate student behavior. And the success is going to be measured through the data tracking and the surveys, which we will see in this presentation. So the problem was that the Student Support Center is extremely underutilized. I think, yeah, you guys all know that. It's extremely underutilized. Behavior within the school is escalating, and you guys are finding it, and myself as a teacher, are finding it harder to find ways to implement behavior techniques to have a better classroom management. Tier 1 strategies have been lacking in some, not all, but in some classrooms, and we're working on trying to get you guys to learn how to refer students to the center to make it more manageable for you guys in the classroom once the students return. So in our needs assessment, this is what we looked at. The people that were aware with the Student Support Center, 88% of the teachers in the building were aware of the Student Support Center. 12% were not. That could be due to the fact that we were combined with another school last year. Maybe just forgetting, just to back up those of you that haven't been here for a while, we did have a Student Support Center down in that back hallway, which was just a room where students would spend the whole day. They didn't get work completed. It didn't help or fix their behaviors. They just went there. It was almost like a quote unquote dumping ground. So teachers that have utilized the facility, 68% of you have not utilized the facility, 32% have. So out of the 25 teachers that responded, 88% of the teachers are familiar with the center, 68% have not utilized it. So yes, we're very familiar with the center. We're not familiar with how to refer students, which is probably the reason why the center hasn't been used as much. So why a student support center? Again, the student behaviors are escalating. Our students work with, our students deal with a lot of documented trauma, and studies show that social emotional learning helps students to self-regulate. The student needs to be in the class working on academics and not running through the halls being dysregulated. Excuse me. How will this help? By regulating their behavior, students will be able to remain in class. The center will allow students to choose their own pathway. I know some of you have walked by and peeked in, yep. Once we're up and running, I'll get into that more, but they will be allowed to choose their own pathways where they can calm down, and this will give them some control over what they're doing, not being told, get to the office, get here, get there. It will give them, they have like 5 different paths that they can choose from, and it will give them some buy-in to the process. So once our professional development was implemented, we began our test cases. You guys obviously were completing the forms. As I talked about, we tweaked it, made it a lot simpler for you guys to fill out, and to fill it out quickly. That was very important. So you guys would make referrals, and you were asked to document the behavior of what happened when they returned to the classroom. So we began with 1 teacher from each grade in K through 4. We asked you to complete the survey for each child you wish to send. I tracked what grade was sending the most referrals, and what area of the school most of the incidents were taking place in. And as you can see, the data shows, sorry, 2nd grade, and I know you're going out on maternity leave, but 47%, so almost half of the behaviors were coming from 2nd grade. And then this tracks because the other biggest chunk of the pie was from 3rd grade, so those are our 2nd graders that moved on from last year. Where the behavior is taking place, again, more than half of it is coming from almost half of it is coming from the classroom and the playground. Those are 2 huge places where, again, there's a lot less structure on the playground. Classrooms, we've really got to like buckle down on that tier 1 behavior. So those of you that did all of you sent students to the referral process, but some of the things that you talked about when they came back from the student support center is they returned calm and remained quiet. One of them, not so much, he was calm for a bit, but the behaviors began again. Someone wrote that he was able to tell me what upset him and he seemed more relaxed. The behavior was completely different. Asked if he could go back. So I thought this one was super interesting. The student asked if he could go back if he felt like he was going to lose control again, which is, to me, says that really helped him in understanding how to control his emotions. This one, the student apologized to the student he hit and just went back to his work. Someone said it helped them to calm down, and this teacher said that the student was able to focus more when he returned to work. So the results from returning from the student support center, the behaviors were mostly improved. So you guys reported that overall the behavior was improved with an occasional misstep and need to return to the center. A very small 2% said that the students did not show a major improvement in behavior. 78% said that they reported vast improvements in the students' behavior returning from the student support center. 20% said that they saw a little bit of the behavior coming back. But overall, I think 70% of this test group that showed vast improvement is a great thing for us at this point in helping students to regulate and deal with the problem, go to the center. Again, they were only there 10, 15 minutes tops and get back to work and not miss a lot of instruction. The final outcomes of our research project shows that overall, the students that are sent to the support center are able to self-regulate and return to the classroom and get back to work. They showed when in the center, they were able to understand their behaviors and their reactions to the behavior to what was happening. It was noted that when removed from the situation and given time to self-reflect and manage their emotions on their own by choosing the path that they would like to complete in the center, they were more apt to be regulated and ready to return to the classroom and to their peers. So again, giving them that piece of having a choice, not just being told, get in there, this is what you're doing, being able to pick what they wanted to do, which path they wanted to follow, really helped them to say, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is going to help me self-regulate. Our next steps. So as a result of the positive behavior, I spoke with the principal, and when we get back from Christmas break, we will be implementing this. All teachers will have the form available to them. It will be in the Google Drive. We did a quick, at the last principals meeting, you guys know that we quickly went over what, where the form was, how to fill it out. Again, we really streamlined it. It's very short, just a few blurbs about what happened, where, and who the student was. But something that we've built in is every teacher will have about 15 minutes at the end of the day to really work on our Dovetail tools. That is a huge part, as you guys know, of our getting in there and teaching them the tools of how to self-regulate. And when they can't actually do it in the moment, that is what our Student Support Center will be for. So built into your curriculum, you have 15 minutes set aside at the end of the day to teach the tool. There is a pacing guide that will be put into the Google Classroom for the teachers to follow weekly. There will be tools taught weekly, and they have access to their tools. I know we all got them at the beginning of the year. They have a little toolbox that they can put them in, and videos are in that pacing guide as well, so you can help them work through what they're going through. If a student, the way we're going to keep track of whether or not you guys are teaching the tools, and I shouldn't say we because it's not going to be me, but when the students go to the Student Support Center, if the guidance counselor is talking to them about the tools and they don't know what those tools are, that means they're not being taught in class, so that's when the administration will be involved. So please make sure, anybody on your team, make sure that they're teaching the tools. And that's pretty much it. I want to thank all of you so much. I know how hard it is at the end of the day to save for extra professional development, or, to take an hour out of your day to come and do something that you weren't required to do, you weren't getting paid for. Hopefully you enjoyed the snacks, but I do really appreciate you. You will see the results monthly in the newsletter from the MTSSB committee, which I am on. You will see that newsletter monthly that will have graphs and pie graphs showing you what the behaviors are, where they're happening, and hopefully we can be able to track that is that those behaviors are coming down and that the Student Support Center is really working. And again, let's make sure that they're using their tools. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I will close it up with, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yes, it will be open. It will be open once we get back from Christmas vacation, and the guidance counselor, as well as I, will be able to track who's going. I will be able to see who's being sent to the center. If people decide they don't want that, then I can take myself off of the form, and then we can, but ultimately I do see it in the MTSSB meeting. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate all you guys.